feeling really good today. My last full day in Boise. I've just been having like some really good thoughts today. I've been like very like comfortable in my thoughts, and that's the ideal place to be. You know, you're gonna be in your thoughts a lot of the time, whether you like it or not. So it's always nice, and I feel very grateful when I feel very comfortable in them, and I allow myself to just kind of like keep thinking and expanding on ideas and all this stuff without it ever feeling overwhelming. And I don't know, I think a lot of that is just because I've been living, I've just been kind of, doing what I want. I'm feeling really cute. I got a cool ass outfit on. I feel like it's very like 90s, like Jerry Seinfeld shit. But yeah, I was putting on my clothes today, and I was putting on like some layers. It's not even that cold. It's like 60 degrees and sunny, so it's not cold. But I was just thinking, like, I like putting on layers. I like wearing clothing that covers most of my body. I think ultimately I prefer when it's warm out, but I felt this even camping in Yellowstone. Like, it's kind of fun to layer up. I find it very like comforting and comfortable. But then I was just thinking, a lot of people, it's very easy, you ask the question to someone, do you prefer the hot or the cold? Especially in Minnesota, that's so prevalent because like we have such extremes on both ends. But I feel like it's so common, and it's kind of like a joke, that the only right answer is like, well, when it's cold, I prefer the heat, and when it's hot, I prefer the cold. But I was just thinking, like, man, I felt kind of the opposite this last year. When it's warm, I prefer the warm, and when it's cold, I prefer the cold. And I think that's the best way to look at it. Like, it's not always the most human answer, sure, but it reminds me of stoicism. Things that are out of your control. I mean, maybe it's not exactly the same, but the weather's out of your control, so why not just try and appreciate the weather that you have when you have it, When it's cold, like, fuck yeah, let me put on some layers. Feels good. Feel very cozy, feel comfortable. And when it's warm, it's like, oh, thank God I can shed these layers, and just like be outside in my bare skin and just like feel comfortable. But yeah, that's what I was feeling earlier today, and I think that's very, very powerful, because I'm trying to live a life like that with everything. And this brings up another thought that I was having too, and I've known this for years, but I've spent so much of my time being so particular and so precise. And I've said this to, my partners and my friends and stuff. I've been very self-aware of it. It's one of those things, like so many other things I say, I don't think it's a bad thing, but it's definitely caused me a lot of stress and negative emotions that didn't need to be there, just because I was so particular and I would still go with the flow on the outside like I've always been, but on the inside I was kind of like, stressing, like tweaking a little bit, just like hyper focused on this one thing. If it's not done the way that I not even wanted to get done, but needed to get done. But man, like, even just like today, I was trying to trim my mustache, and my thing was out of battery. I don't fucking know why. Maybe it got turned on or something. But I was like, oh, bummer. And then I moved on. And I was like, I guess I'm having a longer mustache the rest of this trip. Me in the past, you know, would have been like hyper focused on that shit. Like, fuck, I wish I had fucking like shorter mustache. Like, it's just these small things that just cause me so much negativity, where it's like, I don't need that shit, bro. Or like, you know, for me, this is such a weird niche one. But you know, like my pockets in my pants are always very particular as well. You know, phone in the right pocket, nothing else can go in there ever. You know, wallet in the left pocket, stuff like that. But this trip, you know, I've just been, you know, it's like, you know, I want these things in my pants. I'm gonna bend my rules. And you know, like right now I'm like, I got my notebook in my back right pocket, like I'm sitting on it. Me in the past would have been like, this is so uncomfortable, like I gotta figure out a better way to do this. But it's like, no dude, who fucking cares? Like, if you don't hyper focus on it, then it's not even there, you don't even notice. And then you have it when the time is right. And that is so niche, and I don't expect anyone to like understand that, but maybe you can relate it to other things in your life like that. It's funny that I'm speaking like, you know, people are gonna hear this, because I have no idea if they are ever, but I guess that's kind of been my mindset with it. Or just for me to hear when I read it back. I think that's been like the default. But no, I've been feeling really good today. I had a really good vanilla soy latte from Flying M Coffee. Super good, with some CBD in there, and that was actually like fucking sick. To feel that, like, you know, like uptick in energy from the caffeine, but then also just feel chill as fuck with the CBD. Like, I did not think that was gonna work so well. If anything, I thought, you know, like it'd make me feel kind of like twisted in that weird sort of way. It's like, I don't know how to feel right now. But I wanted to try it. And damn, I'm glad I did, because it was fucking great. But yeah, it's a beautiful day. There are no clouds. The last couple of days have been a little cloudy, which is fine, you know. Like, the first day I got in here to Boise, there were no clouds, and it was just perfect. And the last couple of days have been cloudy, but that's okay, you know. Oh, no parking. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just stoked on today. I just pulled up to Atomic Treasures, which is hopefully where I'm gonna find some souvenirs. I assume I will. This seems like a really cool place. Yeah, man, I'm feeling good. I feel very grateful after my one kind of bad day, or bad night, I should say, a couple days ago, that I've been feeling like a lot better. I think I just needed to get that out of my system. But I'm also excited for the rest of the day. Like, after this, I'm gonna go to the park, walk around the park. I'm gonna smoke, because I haven't done that during the day, but I'm like, damn, I should fucking get high in Boise, like, and just walk around. So I'm gonna get a little high. Walk around the park, go to the art museum, maybe even go to the zoo. I don't know, man, just fuck around. I might go back to that, my favorite thrift store from yesterday, because that cute cashier said that I should come back today, because they do like they put the clothing rack out, I think that's what they said. So I kind of want to see what that's about, and then also like it'd be cute to see them again if they're there, but I don't know if they will be. And I did actually tell them that they were very pretty, and I'm proud of myself that I did, because it was a very beautiful thing, you know. Like they smile. It was such a very genuine smile, and I feel like I'm a very like approachable person, and like, you know, I don't say things like out of pocket. So they knew that I was being sincere. And then I also told them, I said, I think you're very, very pretty, by the way. And then I told them that I appreciated their energy, which is very true. And then I said, take care, and they said, thank you. And then we kind of held eye contact just for a sec as I was walking away. Sorry, I'm trying to maneuver this. But yeah, I hope they're there again. And if they're not, that's okay too. But I hope that they are. Fuck, dude, this parking is impossible. Oh my god, dude. Where to park? Okay, I'm gonna end this and focus. Okay. I am leaving my Airbnb. And I'm on my way. My time in Boise is up. And it's bizarre. It's crazy, bro, that I've already been here 4 days, like 4 whole days. I mean, this is the 5th day. It's just weird how you can look forward to things for so long. And then they just happen, and then they're done. That's just how it goes, though, It's just interesting. So many things have happened since then, both within myself and also just like external to myself. I had a lot of great experiences here, a lot of interesting experiences that I wouldn't have, if I wasn't in a strange place to myself, by myself. I'm very grateful for that. That's what I wanted, But yeah, I met up with Sadie last night. She was really cool, very sweet. I think it was kind of fitting that I met up with someone on my last night here. I'm kind of glad it went that way, I think, in hindsight. I'm kind of glad that I didn't meet up with anyone beforehand. If not just for the fact that, that means that I got to spend the most amount of time with myself. Guaranteed, There's no other... If I had met someone before, maybe I would have wanted to hang out with them, and maybe they would have wanted to hang out with me too. But even if, I'm just saying, I'm glad I got all the alone time that I got. I think that was necessary. That was the point of the trip. I mean, it was always going to work out how it was going to work out, and I think it worked out in the best way. But then again, I think whatever would have happened if it was another story, I would think the same thing. And I think that's okay. And yeah, I wonder if I'll ever see her again. That's another interesting thought. I mean, I feel like we both kind of figured that we won't, but she was very kind. It was nice to just be with someone else, different, completely new to me. It's a very special thing. And to be inside someone else for so long, I mean, I was chilling inside her as we talked for a long time, like 20-some, 30 minutes. It's a very, very special feeling. Damn, just like that, I'm out of Boise. Bye, Boise. Yeah, I don't really have much to say right now. I think I just wanted to say something. Because I'm leaving. And although this has, although my voice recording started as a way to process my thoughts, and that's still what they are at the end of the day, I guess they've also kind of served as like a log, like a, you know, documenting what I've been doing on my trip, which I also find valuable, and I'm sure I will in the future as well when I'm looking back on this trip. It's been a fucking crazy trip already, bro. Like, I can't even believe I've done as much as I've done. It's kind of unreal to me. Like, I just spent 4 whole days in Boise, Idaho, and before that I spent like 2 days in Yellowstone and another 2 days like trekking across the country. It's just nuts. It's like that LeBron pick, you know, like, can't believe this is my life. That's kind of how it feels. And when I get back, I'm about to go to New York, like, very soon after, which is also crazy. Yeah, I was thinking about all the places that I have been this year, and it's kind of nuts. Like, I've been to, let's see, I went to Los Angeles, went to Chicago twice, went to Austin, made this whole trip, Boise, along with, you know, Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming, gonna be Utah and South Dakota too. And then I'll be going to New York. And then the trip with my dad and brother too, down to Arizona. Like, literally just fucking all over. Or Nevada, whichever. It's crazy, bro. Very cloudy day here again. I'm glad I got a good day yesterday. It was a beautiful day yesterday. Such a perfect way to end it. It was so chill. I really like Idaho, and I love the fact that everyone I talk to here loves Idaho. Or they love Boise, I should say. That's weird, talking about Boise. Kind of funny that I've been like low-key sick this whole time too. I mean, I'm not like sick anymore. Nah, I've just been like congested. But it's so funny that the night before I just woke up in the middle of the night and felt that like scratchy, dry throat feeling, and just knew like, damn, it's gonna last the whole time, isn't it? Well, you know, roll with the punches. It's all you can do. I haven't even noticed it really. Or I haven't, of course I've noticed it, I just haven't paid much mind to it. Because what good would that do? What good would it do to dwell on it? You know, I got my congestion medicine, my mucus medicine, and that's really all you can do. Before I turn on my music, I just wanted to say how crazy it was. Along with other things this trip, this was pretty wild to me. You know, I go downtown last night, to meet up with Sadie, and she tells me that she can't make it. So of course I'm bummed, but you know, I'm no stranger to that happening before, you know, plans getting canceled, especially like romantic plans, and that's fine, you know. It's like, it sucks and it's disappointing, but I understand, you know. I'm not like, what good would it do to be bitter about it? I can't. It's not the way that I want to behave. So of course I was bummed. And in the past, you know, I've never been bitter about those situations. But in the past, I've become very depressed after those situations, and you know, the night is just ruined. But this was the first time where I was really like, you know what? Whatever. Still gonna go downtown, still gonna have a fun night. Just vibe on my own, like I have been doing this whole time. So I got to check out another bar by myself, chatted with some people there. I felt very like, I think it was probably because my plans were so changed, but I felt very open, you know, like I was chatting people up more than usual. You know, just asking dudes, hey, how's your night going, bro? Like, blah, blah, blah. And had some good conversations. It's always just so fun to learn about new people. And just gain new perspectives, you know? But after Atlas Bar, which is where I was going to meet Sadie, I went to Mulligan's, which was, I mean, definitely my favorite bar that I went to in Boise. But it was so funny because on my way to Mulligan's, I was walking down the street, and these two girls were kind of walking towards each other, like perpendicular. And I start walking in the street my way after we crossed paths, and they start walking in the street their way. And then we literally realized, like separately, that we both needed to do the same thing and double back to where the other person was, if that makes sense. We essentially just did the same thing and switched spots without even kind of knowing it. And I was just about to say, like, to one of the girls, like, it's funny that we just did the exact same thing. But before I could, she was like, I really like your hair and I really like your jacket. And she was like, wait, what's your name? And I told her Riley. And she said, that's my name. And I asked how you spell it. She said Riley. I said that. So I chatted with them, Riley and her friend, for a few minutes. That was just so funny. Like, what a fucking coincidence. Just on all ends. And her friend looked like she was in a hurry to go, so they left after like a few minutes of talking. And you know, that was one of those situations where it's like, man, I kind of wanted to hang out with them just to see where the night would go, because they seemed fun and cool, and they were cute. But you know, it's like just picking up on their energy. Riley seemed down to hang, but her friend kind of didn't. So I was just, okay, you know, instead of being one of those dudes, you know, like, oh, wait, like, where are you going? Like, let's hang out, blah, blah, blah. You know, just kind of read the energy and understand, you know, it's like, okay, we're going to go, and okay, you know, it's really nice to meet you, really, really nice to meet another Riley, and then leave it at that. So that was a coincidence in itself. And then I walk into Mulligan's. I wasn't even there for 5 minutes before Touch Tunes started playing Crystal Castles, a song off of the album that I had literally been listening to all day yesterday. Like, that was the one album that I was listening to yesterday. And I have not listened to Crystal Castles in years, like many years. It blew my fucking mind. So much so that I just like quickly interjected on like this dude's conversation with a few other people. I was just like, I just need to tell someone this. And they were very receptive. You know, I wasn't rude about it, but I was just like, I need to tell someone this. And you know, they were all, it stopped after that statement by me, but, you know, they were like, it's fucking destiny, bro. You're meant to be here. And I was like, fucking right I am. That's crazy. It's like the angel numbers that I've been seeing. The reaffirmation that I'm on the right path. That was just, I mean, first the Riley coincidence, and then that blew my mind. And then, you know, afterwards, like, Sadie hit me up, like, because she felt bad I got a lift. She was like, Venmo me. And I said, no, it's really no problem. And then she said, well, if you can still make it over here, sorry I couldn't make it downtown, but if you can make it over to my place, you're more than welcome to. I said, bet. Where you live? And that was that. And I'm really happy that all worked out. And I think it's because, you know, I'm not one to, I'm sure part of the reason why she canceled at first was because I'm a stranger. I'm sure that's at least part of it. She said she just got a little too tipsy before going out, so she couldn't make it downtown. I was like, okay, you know, it's whatever. I don't really mind. Whatever your reason is. Because when I told her at the beginning, it was, you know, damn, I'm bummed, but I get it. Like, I really do understand. And I didn't elaborate on any of it, but, you know, I was implying, like, I understand that I'm a stranger and I'm by myself and all these other things. That was my implication. But I think because I chose to respond in the way that I did, I feel like maybe that was the reason why she invited me over afterwards. I don't know, it just goes to show, like, the way that I kind of am looking at it is just like, get some bummer news, don't choose to lash out, because what would that do? And that's just genuinely not how I feel anyway. But be very understanding, and, you know, like, okay, like, I think you're gorgeous, I was really looking forward to meeting you, hopefully we can meet again in the future, I hope you take care, and leave it at that. That's that good kind of energy that just, like, that's what people need, that's what the world needs, you know, like, understanding. Especially, like, I mean, like, yeah, I wanted to see her, to meet a new person, and, you know, it's always so fun. But I was also just, like, fucking horny, you know, like, it's Tinder. I'm sure she was too. I mean, we had really good sex, like, that's for sure. But I just don't want to, can't be one of those people that's just, like, fucking horny to the point where it's like, you know, like the cliche dude, just like the dude that's like the sono head, like that guy. Because people are genuinely like that, you know. As soon as someone says, you know, like, oh, actually, no, we're not gonna meet up, and in other words, you're not gonna get yours tonight. So many dudes just, you know, alright, fuck you then. Thanks for nothing. Thanks for wasting my time. Like, what a fucking chump. What a chump move. But it's so common. And I just refuse to be that way. And it's genuinely, you know, not how I feel anyway, so I guess that makes it easier. But I think regardless, that's something that everyone can work on, you know, like, even if you genuinely do feel upset that, you know, you're not about to fucking get laid tonight, when you thought that you were. Just suck it up, bro. Fucking suck it up and move on. Have a good night the rest of your night, because it's your night anyway. And it's been your night. It's not even like you were with them. So suck it up and just, you know, like, it'll happen in the future. Who cares? You know, fucking go masturbate. That'll solve the issue. And you can do whatever you want. Because people like that usually fucking nut and then leave anyway, so. No, I just felt very, very content yesterday with the energy that I put out. And again, I was reaffirmed beyond belief, truly. Meeting another Riley just on the street because she complimented me, and then the Crystal Castle was just unbelievable. No, yeah, it was a lovely night, beautiful night. beautiful time in Boise. I fucking love Boise. I'm really happy that I have it tattooed on my arm now too. Alright, I'm gonna enjoy this drive, listen to some music. I'm on my way to the Napoleon Dynamite house. And the address didn't work quite right on the article that I was seeing. So hopefully it brings me to the right spot. Because I got it to work, but we'll see. These drives are hard, man. Like, it's kind of tough a lot of the times. I mean, a lot of the time it is enjoyable, you know, just getting to go fast and vibe to music. But other times it's just so, it's hard to be like alone, just thinking through your thoughts with nothing to do, you know. It's like so monotonous. And if you got worry on your mind, it only perpetuates that. But it's like, I mean, it's tough. I mean, that's why I'm talking right now instead of thinking, because there's triple ones, angel numbers. That's a good sign. But yeah, it's like, I mean, what do I have to worry about? Nothing. But here I am worrying. Or just thinking, you know, like. And one of the worst thoughts on a long drive is literally just, you know, how much longer do I have? How much longer do I have? 5 minutes later, how much longer do I have, you know? It's tough when you see your maps app tell you, you know, you got 4 hours to go. It's like, damn, bro, that's 2 longer movies. Like, that's a lot of time. But you know, like I've been saying, it's like that's been this trip. It's not all fun. It is very much like self-discovery and, you know, being uncomfortable. That's just how it goes. That's how life goes, but I guess this is practice to make it more bearable in the future. It's very interesting. Doesn't help that I'm tired too. That makes it worse. That always makes it worse. Tired. Went to bed late, didn't get much sleep. Had to go back to the Airbnb, do laundry, pack, all that stuff. Just more logistics, you know. It's tough when your mind like wanders to the most extreme. You know, when you feel like you're wigging yourself out for no reason. And then you realize that it's all in your head. Obviously. If I was like sitting in the passenger seat and I was looking at myself, I'd look completely normal, completely unfazed. And that's how I should be thinking too, you know? I got nothing to worry about. I think I am like a little homesick now too. I've gone over a week officially. And I mean, leaving Boise is like the mark of my return journey home, you know. Even though it is still, I'm still on my trip, you know. for a few more days. I think it's just a weird sort of feeling internally. Like my body knows that, you know, I'm returning home, or I'm making my way back. So it's kind of shifting a little bit, adjusting. And I think that affects my mood and emotions, along with just driving and being tired, like I was saying. Yeah, I don't know. Feel a little anxious, but you know, it is what it is. I'll get through it. I got a lot to look forward to today. Napoleon Dynamite House, and then Salt Lake City. That'll be fun. And then I get to spend a whole day there too. And you know, that's enough to even make me feel better, just remembering that. Remembering that I got that to look forward to, that I'm not alone, that I got my team always with me. Got my future to look forward to. Yeah. I can talk myself out of these funks. I gotta remember that. I'm here, and I deserve to be here. I deserve to be on this road in Idaho right now by myself, feeling happy. I deserve to not, you know, have to care about anything because I'm on vacation and I don't have a job. Willingly. It's a beautiful thing that I can do this. And I know a lot of people commend me for it. I mean, dude at the bar yesterday again. It's really funny. I played a Charlie XCX song and he was like, you know, fucking with it. You know, we started chatting just for a sec. And I told him about my trip, and he told me very sincerely, you know, like, I'm proud of you. It made me feel good. And he repeated it too. That was really nice of him. It's a weird journey. A lot of things I didn't expect. But like I said, I kept my expectations to a minimum for this reason. It's been a good time. It's been a necessary time, that's for sure. It just becomes like increasingly more clear to me how important, you know, sleep is. And that's a very obvious statement, but earlier when I was just feeling very anxious, you know, it's like that combination of like lack of sleep, change in mindset, and then like, you know, driving is a very serious thing. And it should be treated like that. So if I feel like I'm not able to perform to the right level, that really stresses me out. And I mean, that's a good thing. But like, sometimes it just takes a little while for you to get to that point where like, and by no means was I like falling asleep at the wheel, but like, you know, I could feel my eyes getting more and more tired the less stimulated I was, and the more I would just keep doing like the same thing. I kept trying to move around, but I just kept getting more tired. So I finally pulled off into a Phillips 66 and just slept for like an hour. I woke up feeling great. It's as easy as that. I mean, it's not always as easy as that, but that's definitely something to remember and try and do. And it just got me thinking how that's really true for so many different things. You know, even if I'm not doing something as serious as driving, lack of sleep like really fucks me up. Like that one horrible day that I had maybe a couple months ago at this point, a month and a half, something like that. But that really horrible day that I had, the worst day in recent memory, when I thought I was like actually gonna like have a heart attack. I was doing coke all that night before, but I literally got no sleep before going to work. And I mean, the older you get, obviously, again, obvious statement, but the older you get, the more you realize that these things just aren't worth it, you know? And you realize that you can do these things. It's not like you have to omit these experiences from your life, you know? It's just like, just go home sooner, bro. Just don't do as much coke. It's like, at that point, it doesn't matter anyway. It really doesn't. And that's not to be too hard on yourself, because you know you're having fun and all that stuff, and I'm sure I'm going to make mistakes like that in the future still. But hopefully I'll make less of them. Yeah, it just gives way to worrying and all that stuff. It's not good to do things that cause you to worry in the future about what you have done. Like, I've just been thinking, like, with Sadie, you know, like, it's a little different, you know. She's on a birth control, we didn't use condoms. I pulled out, you know, I've never had an issue with that before. Pretty good at pulling out. But, you know, there's just part of me that's just being a human, like, you know, thinking about, like, STIs and pregnancy. I know those things aren't going to happen. It's just interesting the way that your mind works, though, in that way. It's good to prepare, even on the very off chance, but that one's so fucking hard, though. It's hard when you're like getting down to it, and then for me, I know this is bad, but like for me, if the person I'm with, you know, if they start grabbing for it and putting it in my head, I'm just like, oh, I guess we're not using a condom. Because, man, it's just impossible to say no. When it's already happening, or it's impossible to, like, say stop. I mean, I don't want to. I know I should, but that's tough. Very, very, very tough. But at the end of the day, with everything else too, you know, I'm just thinking, well, it already happened, no need to worry about it. Whatever happened, happened, and then whatever, if anything happens, which it won't, you just deal with it in the future. That's the case for everything. Kind of excited to have a girlfriend again, though, whenever that is, and do like cute relationship shit. You know, being non-monogamous for 2 years, it really became the norm. I think I miss monogamy, though, and I'm sure in the future I'm gonna miss non-monogamy, but that's a conversation. Like Claire says, monogamy is a conversation. It's not like you and the other person are like, you know, willingly walking into this like locked door that someone else made. It's like you're making a home for yourself. You call the shots because it's your relationship. It's really not that complicated. I mean, it's not that rigid. It can be complicated, but it's not always complicated. You can make it go from complicated to simple, really, just by speaking to each other about what you want and what you need. I feel like I just have so much romance in my heart. I always have. You know, for love interests, but even just the world around me. I've always said I was a romantic, like, in the artistic sense as well. I think to be a romantic in the artistic sense, you're just an appreciator. You're an appreciator who's dramatic and exaggerates and knows that it's okay because emotions are just like the only thing. Emotions are the only thing. Sometimes you just gotta fucking give into them. You gotta push them too. The ones that you feel. You gotta push them on your own to make you feel even more. Because you can, because you're a human. And that's a beautiful thing. It's an amazing thing. I haven't cried that much on this trip. I thought there was a chance that I would be crying more. But no. Thinking about last night with Sadie, like, those are the kind of moments I do wish I could stay in forever. Or just like, you know, like an entire day. That would just be amazing. Forever's not realistic, but like an entire day, that's doable for sure. Maybe I should do that with someone sometime. Just a whole last day, being naked in bed. Oh, that sounds fantastic. I could coincide that with my wish to go to a motel with someone, just for fun, like in the movies, and for no other reason. I just want to give myself to someone again. You know, I give myself to people all the time. Sometimes to the point, as I've talked about before, to where it's kind of detrimental to me. I don't want to do that anymore, but I just want to give myself to someone and have them give themselves to me. Relationships are beautiful, all of them, monogamous and non-monogamous, platonic even, and non-platonic. Like, any relationship you have with someone, no matter how small. Even me talking to that dude at the bar yesterday about LeBron, how he fucking, who did he beat? Oh, he fucking saw Kendrick Lamar, I guess, in California like 2 days ago, which is insane. Very interesting. No matter how small the relationship, they're all beautiful. You know, if obviously circumstances are required, like if you both have respect for each other, you both have willingness, you know, to have a relationship with each other. I'm not talking about like forced relationships or relationships by profession or family, you know, the ones that you have to have. I'm excited to sit through my voice recordings and see what I've said, see what I want to do with them. I want to do something with them, that's for sure. Excited just to see what I want to do in general, what I make. It'll be a fun journey. And I've been thinking that maybe this is a 3-year journey that Melissa was talking about. Me kind of figuring out my craft and what I want to make. I made it to Utah. I've probably been driving like 30 minutes after being in Preston, Idaho, where they filmed a lot of Napoleon Dynamite. I mean, most of it. And it's another very pretty drive. I love stopping at these small towns. Like, I'm really glad it added on like 2 hours, I think, maybe a little less. If I were to have just gone, you know, straight from Boise to Salt Lake. But man, going to these smaller towns or like taking these smaller side roads, or smaller highways, I should say. They're still big roads. They're just so fucking beautiful. They're so pretty. The main highways or interstates are just they become so monotonous. Kind of boring and samey. It takes a lot for the scenery to change because you move so slow through it. But these like smaller highways through small towns, like it just seems like there's so much more to take in, you know. And it's where like people actually live. People don't live off the interstate in the way that I'm talking about it, like just like the middle of nowhere interstate. I really enjoyed my time in Preston. It's a beautiful city, beautiful little town. It was a lot more surreal than I thought it would be to see these places from Napoleon Dynamite. I really do love that movie. And I think even just being in Preston made me like it even more. It just feels so humble, that town. You know, there's like 5,000 people. They got a lot of space. Their roads are fucking huge, so wide. They got beautiful fall trees. So much just like recreation space. Yeah, not that many people. It's very interesting to think that it's been 16 years since the movie was released. And to just imagine those people shooting that movie there 16 years ago. It intrigues me so much. The house, Napoleon Dynamite house, was even weirder too. Like, was not what I was expecting. It was off this gravel road. There were no other homes by it. It looked a little different, you know. It's been 15 years. The field that Tina the llama was in, it wasn't really there anymore. It was, from what I remember, there was a fence, and then she was just on grass. But I think this was more like sowed and like plowed field. There was a lot of junk in the back, you know, like, not as a diss, just like, you know, lots of junk in like big farms when you have a lot of, you know, old cars, like old shit like that. It was very much one of those homes. Very, very interesting though. I pulled up, there were only 2 other cars that passed me the whole time, and they were clearly just, you know, like locals. Dirty ass cars. Again, not a diss, just like it's a, you know, dirt road. Yeah, very interesting. I kind of just pulled up outside. I didn't want to like stay there too long, because, you know, it's literally just someone's home, which is so interesting. I was talking to Sadie about this yesterday, but like, at least the Home Alone house, you know, like that's in like rich as fuck, like Evanston, Illinois. And yeah, people still live there. And yeah, like, you know, you go there, there's gonna be like a few families there. Like when we went, me, Bella, and Minnie, there were like 3 or 4 other families there taking pictures. But I feel like that's to be expected. You know, they got a lot of distance between them and the street. You know, with their like their doorbell camera ringer thingy, and then their gate. Obviously, they got a lot of privacy still. And it's like, you know, they could buy more privacy if they wanted. The Napoleon Dynamite house is just normal as fuck. That was actually just kind of shocking to me. But I really appreciated it in that way. I didn't even want to treat it as a spectacle. I didn't get out. I thought I was going to do something funny, you know, like make a video. Like my idea was, you know, make a video, me by the house, you know, something like, well, here I am at the pinnacle of my trip. Like, this is what I rode all this way for. And then make some stupid joke about, you know, how I could throw a football over the mountains, or how I could throw a pigskin a quarter mile. Or if coach would have put me in the 4th quarter in '82, we'd have gone to state. That kind of shit. Or one taken state, whatever Uncle Rico says. Shit is so funny. Yeah, I felt very appreciative. Just kind of like a quiet observance. And I love when I get in those moods, because I think that's when I appreciate the deepest. I'm really, that's so interesting that I think about it. Like, I'm really not thinking about anything else. I just want to observe in solitude, and just kind of like, you know, like if my emotion could be like one expression, it would just be like a, you know, like a soft kind of like statement of just like wonder. Wow, that's how I feel the whole time when I'm in those moods. And they don't come that often, because, you know, it's like adrenaline. You can't like recreate it. It just has to happen. But it was beautiful. Idaho is just so gorgeous. This whole area is so gorgeous. Every state that I've been to, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, now Utah, just gorgeous. Idaho is the hidden gem for sure. And it's funny, I didn't realize as I was saying that earlier that it's also the gem state, so it's just even more fitting. I mean, even I won't lie, even North Dakota, you know, it's prettier than I would have imagined it to be. had never been to North Dakota, which is surprising because I've been to South Dakota so many times. Oh, it's pretty amazing. The worlds that you don't know exist just because they're not your world, they're not your immediate world. Of course you know they're real. You don't think anyone's lying to you. Unless you're like Dakota, that dude I met at the bar who like literally thinks the earth is flat. Anyway, sidetracked. You know that they're real, that people live in them, that they exist, but it's different to know that without seeing it or even imagining it. Because when you learn things, I mean, I feel like most of the time you don't take the time to, you know, imagine a hypothetical situation where like, oh, let me just imagine what a small town family in rural Idaho lives like, or looks like, or acts like, you know, what they do for fun. But it's very different when you actually experience it. It's very, very humbling. I've used that word a lot, but it's very true. It's humbling to be by yourself for so long in places you've never been, with people that you don't, the types of people you don't interact with almost ever. And that can't really be said without acknowledging like my privilege, because I'm able to do that very easily. The only difference with me and them is maybe my hair or my clothes or my jewelry. That's it. That's really it. I can change those things whenever I want. So it's just important to remember that. But it's very, very interesting. Today was the first day that I felt a little homesick, as I think I mentioned earlier, but I'm back to that mood of feeling very calm, enjoying my car rides. I was just in a funk this morning for sure. I feel very, very calm. I feel very happy to be here. And when I get home, I mean, man, I feel like I'm going to decompress so much. It's going to take days, if not weeks, to process this trip. It's crazy to think about. I've already gone through so much. What a remarkable thing I've been doing for myself. It's exactly what I needed. So here I am in Salt Lake City. Another beautiful day, no clouds. I feel so like grateful that all the days that I've kind of wanted, I want to say needed, but like, you know, I would have had a good day no matter what, but it's just worked out so well that all the days that make the most sense have been the prettiest for me. I think that's really special. This is my one full day in Salt Lake City, and it's just fucking gorgeous. But it's funny too, because I've been thinking like here and there how, and for some reason I always remember, you know, second grade when we would list off the states and their capitals, because each of us students, each of us second graders would have like a state and the capital, and we would say them like every day or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it worked, but I remember mine was Utah, Salt Lake City, and because of that I've always remembered, you know, obviously that Salt Lake was the capital, but like, I don't know, I never actually thought about like coming here, but in a weird way it's always been a part of my life. Just one of those weird things you remember as a kid. And here I am, I'm actually here. It's funny to think about. But it's really cool so far. Another, like, I'm glad Mark told me to spend a day here, because I'm really glad that I am. Seems like a lot of cool spots to visit. I'm pretty sure Mark's state was Iowa. He had Des Moines. And I remember like Jesse's was Nevada. I think it was Carson City. It's just funny that I remember my own, but then you also remember your friends and shit too. Just weird like association that you do with memory and the people that you know, and kind of compartmentalizing all the different information. It's very interesting the way that we do that. But yeah, I just had such a good time. Another good morning talking to my server at I can't remember what it's called already, but it's this vegan diner. Super, super fire. Entirely vegan, but like the most like diner feel that you could get. Like it just feels so normal and everything's just vegan, which is amazing. Food was so fire. Had my coffee. Got a tip fat, especially. They were just so nice, my server. Very, very sweet. Reminded me a lot of Ellie. And just how sweet Ellie is. And how I've always thought, you know, if I was at a restaurant and I got Ellie as my server, I'd be so happy. And then my server also spoke so similarly to Minnie, like the way that they say sentences, and I don't know, just like their cadence and their demeanor. So interesting, these things that we just associate with our friends, but they're bigger than our friends. But then again, like our friends are their own individual person. It's just, it's very special. I like that a lot. Another thought I had today was sparked by someone in the Airbnb house like walking down the stairs kind of loud. But it made me think that, you know, I always have been the kind of person to just be okay with the way that people are, you know? Some people just walk down the stairs very loudly, and some people walk down the stairs very quietly, you know? And of course I get, you know, there's always like some part of me that sometimes comes up that is less appreciative of the way that people are just for being themselves, you know, like mild irritation. But especially lately, I've just been trying so hard to remember that, you know, everyone's just a person. Just because someone walks down the stairs loudly and you get annoyed doesn't mean that they're trying to annoy you, you know, they're just being a fucking person. And I think those thoughts they never leave my head. They're just thoughts that I have. That's not true. Sometimes I complain I'm not having a good day, but it's very minimal, you know, it's just like a passing sort of statement, and it's always just like, I know they're being a person, but like it's kind of annoying or whatever. But I think when I'm with people one-on-one, or, you know, not even one-on-one, just like in a stranger setting, I feel like I do a very good job of making people feel comfortable. And I think that's how it should be, you know, where like you like burp or fart or like do any sort of human thing that's like, you know, taboo in a way, to where you're supposed to feel like embarrassed or something like that. I just don't want people to ever feel that way, because that's such wasted energy. And I want to try to live more like the way that I, quote unquote, allow people to live, because of course it's not up to me, but I'm the kind of person that would just, you know, be fine with it and not even pay any mind to it, because it's not abnormal. Like some people would even, you know, do the extreme in the opposite way, you know, where they're just like, oh, you farted? Like, hey, that's totally cool, bro. Like, no problem. Like, blah, blah, blah. Whereas, like, I don't even want to pay mind to it. You know, I just want to keep doing my own thing, because, like, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it's weird tangent, but I feel like I should try and live that way more myself too, because I think I've sacrificed that throughout my life, where I feel that way towards other people, but here I am still, you know, making sure that I abide by the social norms, and because I know other people don't feel that way, I try my hardest to be normal, you know? And I don't know. I think it's this time in my life, I owe that to myself, to behave the way that normal people behave, and just, you know, treat it as it is. Because that's all that it is, really. I just pulled up to this spot in the Great Salt Lake that I was told by my server to come to, and it's very pretty. I don't know where to park though, is the thing. I'm gonna hop out. I'm gonna see what's up. Man, I've just been having such a good day. Had a really good time at the Great Salt Lake. Spent about an hour there. Really good time to reflect, and just think and write. A lot of good stuff. Very substantial, I want to say. Like it just felt very profound. And I really appreciated that. Then I went to one of the thrift stores. And sorry, I'm trying to figure out where to park. Got a few things there, but more importantly, you know, just had a good time looking. And then also I talked to Mary, the owner, who is, what did she say, 76 or something like that. Very, very sweet woman. We talked for maybe 20-30 minutes. It was just nice to talk to her about her experience, and also just, you know, like the way she views the world, the way she's been grateful lately, which I was talking to her about how I've been feeling grateful too about all these different things, or deciding to like put faith that everything is going to be okay into your life, and how beneficial that is, even if you have to convince yourself how necessary that is. Yeah, I love when I don't have to be on a time schedule, and I can just do things like that. But I can do things like that so much more often than I think I thought in the past. I don't have to be on vacation to do those things, like for real. I've always kind of felt like, you know, I've always put myself on a time limit when I really don't need to be. And then again, it's like a time limit to go home and do what? Do nothing. Not beating myself up, just like that's the truth. And then as I was driving to this other store that I want to check out, just happened to pass by a building being torn down with a big bulldozer, and it was so funny. There were like 5 people like watching, and then I decided just to park. Here, I'm gonna grab this spot really quick. I decided just to park and watch it, and I'm so glad I did. I was there for like 20, maybe like 10 minutes. But it was just so funny. Because like, here we are, like me and all these other people, watching this building being torn down, you know, taking videos of it. There were probably like 15, 20 people watching this happen. It was just so fucking funny to me. Again, it's just like not being on a schedule. Like, hey, you want to watch a building being torn down? Like, yeah, sounds fun. And it was fun. Now I'm at this shop with cats in the windows. Like, and I remember reading online that they have cats all over here. So that's really cute. I get to meet some kitties. That's fucking awesome. I love this already. It's been a good day. I feel very... This day feels profound to me. Even though it's like, on paper, it's another day very similar to all the other days that I've been having. But it feels very substantial in my life. I feel like my thought process today is really working. It's really just kind of, you know, like getting after it. It's tackling these ideas that I've been wrestling with. It feels really good. Another beginning to a drive of leaving a city that I was in. I'm gonna miss Salt Lake. It was really, really fun. I was only here for, you know, one full day, and then this morning, and then the other night. Honestly, I think this Salt Lake had like the coolest places. That vegan diner, vertical diner, so fucking good. I went there again today. Twilight Lounge, that place was just fucking awesome too. Got really drunk last night with a couple of my new friends. I went to ex-wife's. I met this one dude, Aaron. We kicked it for, I don't know, a couple hours, played pool and just chatted. And then at Twilight, hung out with dude Elvis, who's older than me. Said he'd been living in Salt Lake for like 25 years now. And Twilight's cool because like everyone seems like a fucking regular. Like everyone knows everybody. It's really cool. I love that vibe. But yeah, here I am, driving again. And you know, I was feeling like a little, kind of how I was a couple days ago. That just like trapped kind of feeling, like I'm all in my head, but I'm still performing my default actions, you know, of driving, of eating, of all these things, but I'm not really like living in the present. I'm kind of trapped with my anxieties and thoughts. And I know that's partly because I drank too much too. I think I want to stop drinking so much. Like, even when I do drink, you know, I don't have to drink as much as I do. And I have gotten better. Definitely I've gotten better than how I was before. And it's not like a, wow, this is fucking beautiful. Oh my God. These mountains I'm driving through right now. And it's not like, I'm just gonna get a picture really quick. Oh, it's still recording, cool. Where was I? Yeah, so my feelings of being trapped, that's such a common like theme of my anxieties. And when I feel the way that I feel, I just feel like very, very stuck. Like I'm living in my head, but I'm performing those actions to get me through the day. But I'm not really there. I'm not, well, of course I'm there. I'm just not as present. It's hard to describe, but I feel kind of like, like my shoulders are hunched over, and I'm just kind of like scared of everything. And obviously that's no way to live, truly. But I reminded myself, like, I deserve to be here. I deserve to continue my nice time into this car ride. It's a long one. It's like, almost 6 hours. I deserve to be listening to this new JPEG Mafia and have a good time. And I deserve to feel calm on the road. And like I deserve to be on the road. I don't think I have a general anxiety of driving, but like driving sometimes induces more anxiety in me. If that makes sense. And a lot of the times I feel like, it's good to drive defensive, but I feel like I'm so on edge because I'm anticipating like every wrong move as if it's gonna happen, or like, I need to be prepared for it. And that's a tricky thing, because it's like, of course it's a good thing to be, anticipate and aware, to avoid an accident, of course. But like the things I anticipate are just so like they never happen, like, oh, this car's gonna drive out right in front of you right now. It's like, that's silly, bro. That's a silly thought. It's good that you're being aware, but that's a silly thought. Yeah, just reminding myself that I deserve to feel calm and like continue my good time. I deserve to breathe deep. I deserve to get to where I'm going. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what Casper, Wyoming is like. Doesn't seem like a big town, but it doesn't seem like a small town either. Should be interesting. I am excited to be making my way back home too. I think a couple days ago when I was driving, there was some anxiety just because I left my main destination, right? But then I was going to another destination that I wasn't leaving right away. So like, I kind of wanted to be making my way home, but then, like in the back of my mind, I knew, it's like, well, I still have one more full day in Salt Lake City. And it's an interesting thing because you can simultaneously be excited for that, but also like, man, I want to be going home, but I still got this thing to do. But I'm excited for it. But I kind of wish I was like, feeling like I was making progress on my way home. So I think I feel a little bit better today driving, because like I know that I am making my way home, and the only places that I'm stopping are just for the night, so I don't have to like continuously drive, because I don't want to do that. That'd be silly. Man, my car cannot accelerate that fast. Yeah, it'll be a good drive. It's a pretty day, a little cloudy, very mountainous, very orange over here, fall colors, kind of orange and dry. I feel like there was something else I was going to say too. Oh, this wasn't it, but this is another thought. I do want to take better care of my body. I think I want to exercise more, smoke less. I think I want to implement that into my lifestyle. And I want to have long-term goals. I never have long-term goals. It's always just like short-term. You know, it's like my short-term pleasures, and I convince myself that, like, you know, it's cool because I'm living in the moment. But really, I'm just chasing pleasure. And that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it's less rewarding and less substantial than creating long-term goals that you fulfill. Like, the happiness and pleasure you get from succeeding with your long-term goals is so much more profound than just chasing pleasure all the time. And I don't regret the way that I've been living. But I think I just want to change it up. I'm a fluid person, and I can change things up whenever I want to. I'm excited to be home and, you know, implement these new ideas and stuff like that. I'm at my best when I'm able to be calm and observant and radiate that energy that so many people love. I'm at my best for other people, and I'm at my best for myself in those moments. And a lot of the times when I'm not in those moments, it's because of previous actions not really allowing me to flourish in the present after those previous actions. Like drinking. I'm proud of myself for what I've done with drinking, realizing the complicated relationship. And I think as I get older, and even starting now, you know, like, when I say get older, I just mean like in the future. Like, I don't have to drink every day, even if it's just like a beer, you know? It's like, I don't have to do that. I don't have to smoke every day either. It's fun too, I enjoy it. But I gotta remember that, you know, it's not good for you. And I kind of let it slide a little bit for myself, and I don't regret that. Being on vacation, just, you know, with other people, it's fun. It's fun to hang out, get drunk with people, especially people you don't know. But it's not sustainable, that's for sure. This I know, and everyone else knows too. But I want to be more at my best. I think a good long-term goal is to be at my best as much as possible. And that's pretty vague, but I'm good with goals, because I don't cheat myself. You know, I know if I'm like not committing to a goal, or I know if it's not good enough. You know what I mean? I don't convince myself. I'm not able to convince myself and say like, oh, I think it's good enough. I think I'm doing good enough. You know, I really do. I'm hard on myself. And I don't need to be as hard on myself as I have been. That's for sure. But I'm glad that I do have that in me. I think that's my integrity. At least all these times that I've said it the last couple years, that word integrity, that's how I mean it. Mountains are just beautiful. I'm gonna miss seeing them. I love them so much. They're very divine, very heavenly, like a godlike being that's completely out of your like realm of existing or even comprehension. Is kind of just like always there, not watching you, but just there, you know, just being. It's like a nice reminder that objectively we're all just here just being, you know, me and the mountain. But the mountain isn't distracted by anything else other than being. I didn't know that Utah outlawed gambling, like entirely. Yesterday, and I walked into a Sinclair, and I was asking, because I didn't see any signs. I was like, do you do the Powerball? And he was like, not in all of Utah. I was like, oh shit. And then I looked it up afterwards, what states outlaw gambling in its entirety. You know, I thought it'd be like 5, 6, 7. It's only 2. It's Hawaii and Utah. And funny that I've now had experiences in both of those states, 2 out of the 2 states where I wanted to get a Powerball, but I was told that they just don't do it. And I was like, oh, I feel silly for not knowing, but now I know. And those are the 2. Very interesting. I like so much that I've done so much in my past, and that I've learned so much that I can relate to other people very commonly. Like, it's uncommon if I can't relate to someone on some level. like yesterday, I was thinking about this on my walk home, before I went to bed, but I connected with Elvis and Aaron, in many ways, but basketball was one that we kind of connected with right away. And I just like that I have kind of that knowledge in my pocket at all times, where I can still, like, you know, talk about relevant enough players and teams and history. The best part about history is that that's just solidified. It's not going to change. One of the hardest parts for me is just, like, you know, staying relevant or on top of shit. And basketball is like the one sport where I kind of intake like contemporary news somewhat. Like, it kind of slips into my life, but it's the only one. But still, it's like not nearly enough to be, like, you know, fluent in everything that's going on. But, you know, I've just had so many different phases and, like, experiences. As I was writing about yesterday, or talking about, I can't remember which one. Either way, I know I expressed it somehow. It's just very similar to how I finally feel like it's time for me to start, I guess, expressing myself in a more mature and well-crafted way. Because all these experiences that I've had have just built up my reference so much. And I finally feel ready to kind of start crafting my expression. And I think crafting my expression is a really good way to put it, honestly. I haven't said that before. I think I've said those words together before, but crafting my expression is a very succinct way to put that. I like that a lot. I really am very good with words. And it's a similar thing to what I was talking about, how I don't cheat myself out of anything. Like, I know when something's not good enough, even just for my own, like, personal goals. It's a similar way with words, because I know when words don't accurately convey what I want them to convey. Like, I'm not really satisfied unless I feel like I've really hit the nail on the head with the exact way that I phrase things. And I'm pretty good at doing it on the fly. But that's why I think my writing is even better, because when I'm able to take time and really make sure that all of my words and meanings are deliberate, I think it's very powerful. And I know people know that. I know people see that and realize that. But I really like that about myself. I like speaking a lot. I like writing a lot. And I used to not like myself. I used to not like hearing myself, like, on video, like everyone feels. But now I do. It's kind of funny. People talk a lot about my voice, and my calming voice. Like, Bella just the other day messaged me out of nowhere, "I miss your voice." And then she FaceTimed me, but I was asleep. And I just like hearing myself speak, because that's the voice that they hear. The voice that I hear when I talk in real time is different. It's lower. That's pretty much the main thing. I think that's true for everyone, but I like hearing what they hear and just kind of relating to what they say when they tell me that. In a weird way. I really don't think I'm like a self-centered person, but, like, again, it's like I'm all that I know. Like, why wouldn't I center myself? Like, why wouldn't I try and be in love with myself, you know? And it's not even, I don't think I'm a self-centered person. It's like, I know I'm not. It's like, you know, I've never been arrogant in my life, but confident, absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, that's not entirely true. I'm sure I've been arrogant at some points. I don't think I've been arrogant for a long time, though. And whenever I had been, I'm sure it was just like a in-the-moment kind of thing. Whatever. See, like, sometimes I just think these thoughts that kind of trail on, where it's like, well, yes, but no, but yes, but no. And it's so funny, because I do that so often for everything. But, like, and again, it's not a good or bad thing, it just is. But I just think it's funny, because at the end of those thoughts, I'm just like, oh, I didn't need to think that hard about that, but I did. And I think it's, I don't know, I just laugh at myself sometimes. I think my least favorite part about being hungover is I'm not dizzy, I don't have the spins, I feel like my balance is fine, but everything just feels off. Like my balance isn't 100%. I'm not like gonna tip over or anything like that. I'm not like wobbly, but it just feels kind of like the floor is like ever so slightly, you know, shifting left and right. Not in an unstable way, but just like your point of reference is changing. Ooh. Maybe that's where a lot of anxiety comes from. If you can't feel grounded, you know, like, oh, beautiful bird, I just saw. You can't feel grounded. I mean, it makes sense that you would feel anxious because of that. It's an interesting thought. And Kit told me recently that it's like the fluid in your ears when you drink alcohol, it like changes its viscosity. I don't think that's the word that they used, but essentially I think that's what it is. Like it becomes more liquefied or more solid. And yeah, that shit is so interesting to me. And that's just it's good to know, because it's like, that's the kind of shit that's like, ugh, like why would I want to do that to myself? And of course there are reasons, you know, hanging with your pals, you want to feel good, but it's like, ugh, then I'm gonna feel sick, and my balance is gonna be off, and like, you know, saying your balance is off versus saying like, oh, the liquid, I'm changing the substance of the liquid in my ears. Like the latter just makes it so much more disgusting, to the point where you're like, I don't know if I want to do that. Instead of simply just being like, my balance is off, you know, it's like, yeah, my balance is off, I can adjust. But it's like, you know, if you change that viscosity of the liquid in your ears that balances you, you can't really do anything. You can't really do anything about that, bro. Like, you just gotta wait for it to change back. You know, counteracting your balance, adjusting your balance is something that's like a real-time challenge that people think that they can take on. But the liquid in your ears, that's not something that you can control. The only way that you can control it is by not fucking with it. I don't think I'm back in Wyoming yet, but it's very interesting because this place already has looked similar to Wyoming, and I know I'm like, you know, Salt Lake City is pretty close to Wyoming, but it's unreal, bro. I think like Montana, Wyoming, like some of my favorite terrain. So like cowboy-like. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. Like ranches and just big open fields on the bottom of hills with so many trees on them. Horses. Cowboy shit. The first night in Boise, I watched, it was the first or second, I actually can't remember. I watched Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Just because I wanted to, like, watch a Western. And I remember that we had seen that in, I think it was 10th grade in Mr. Cook's English class. That movie's fucking fire. I love that shit. And the ending is just absolutely perfect. I did not remember it being so good. Like literally the very ending. Where Butch and Sundance are both, you know, fucking shot. Surrounded by hundreds of like military men. Clearly they're fucked. But their mindsets, bro. And I don't know if they're just kidding themselves or if they actually are this delusional. But they're talking about where they're gonna go next after they get out of this. Like they truly think that they're just invincible. And that's admirable as fuck, you know? And Butch even says, you know, like pretty late into the movie, that he tells Sundance he's never shot anyone before. And I learned what the word affable means by rewatching the movie. Because the sheriff that they're in cahoots with describes Butch as affable, the most affable man he's ever met. And affable means, you know, charming and like well-natured. You can talk to them very easily. And it's so true about Butch. And I love that word. I think I'm very affable too. But it shows that he's like a good dude. Like he robs and shit. And that's obviously like not good in a way. I mean, like at one point he's stealing from a dude who, you know, like hires a team of people to capture Butch Cassidy. That cost him more than Butch ever like stole from him to begin with. Like clearly he can afford to be robbed. But he's just like a very well-natured person. I don't know. But their confidence in that last scene is just incredible. To talk to each other about what they're gonna do next when they get out of here after both of them have been shot pretty badly. And, you know, they don't know how many people are surrounding them, but they got shot. They know that there are some people out there. And the way that they waste no fucking time and just jumping back around that corner, just, you know, running and gunning, ready to fucking go, ready to get out of that situation. And it just freezes on them. And the screen holds that still frame image of them right as they hop out of that corner, ready to go, adrenaline pumping. They hold that still and they play the audio of just hundreds of guns being fired. Clearly we know the reality of the probability of them getting away. Pretty fucking close to zero, but there's something so special about not knowing with certainty that no matter how improbable something is, there's still that hope, you know? That in the same way that you don't know for certainty that something did happen, you don't know for certain that it didn't. There's always going to be that little glimmer of hope. And that's an amazing thing. That's really an amazing thing. You can convince yourself of anything too. That's the craziest part. Stop at this view area. I think this is the longest I've talked, like truly just, you know, free flowing thoughts. I really enjoy that. I really enjoyed this. I was about to say thank you, but like who would I thank? I guess I could thank myself. Thank you, me. I really am just always looking out for myself. I love that. You know, sometimes I don't do all that I can to set myself up in the best way possible. But I'm always looking out for myself. This trip has been very hard. It's been very fun. But spending this much time by yourself, you're going to be forced to face your anxieties and insecurities, whether you like it or not. Especially when you're in between big cities. Where exits are 20 miles apart and there's no one but you in the open land. And sometimes music doesn't feel right and podcasts don't either. So you're there alone, completely alone. Feels like I've kind of put myself through, I don't know, through a washing machine. But the experience has really been invaluable. I'll remember this forever, and I think I've changed myself forever. The world is so beautiful that it's filled my eyes with tears at times, and it's made me upset at other times that I didn't know how beautiful it could be. I've met people who have lived their whole lives where I came and met them. People that had never met anyone from Minneapolis. People that had never been further east than Denver. There are so many people in this world with so many different views and beliefs, likes and dislikes, happy memories and bad memories. Just like us, I mean, just like you, just like anyone. I've really enjoyed just listening in on conversations because they're so normal. Boys talking about girls, girls talking about boys. I mean, we're so similar. I'll never see them again. I might not even be back in their town ever again. But people are having the same kind of conversations. I think I'm going to stop talking and write about this tonight instead. So I remembered what I was going to say all those hours ago, when I was like, oh, I thought I had something else to say, whatever. I was thinking in the diner this morning about how, like, my anxiousness is so, I'm always so, like, tense about it, even before I start to feel anxious. Like, the way my mind works, usually just in general, like, not even just with anxiety, I'm always trying to prepare for things, even if not, like, emotionally, just, like, you know, I enjoy being prepared for things, preparation. I like to think that, you know, it's a really good quality that I have. I'm just looking out for my future self, you know? But with my anxiety, I think it's to a fault because I'm thinking so deeply. I'm spending so much energy thinking about, you know, like, okay, how much did I drink last night? Like, did I drink coffee this morning? Blah, blah, blah. Like my anxiety is gonna be formulaic, you know, like it's the product of an equation. And I think that's partly true. But for me to look at it that way is just such wasted energy. And I want to practice not doing that anymore. Like, you know, as I said early on in my road trip, I want to treat those times where I feel anxious as, you know, I'm just a little more vulnerable right now. And I can be real with that. And it is one of those things where ultimately you do just kind of have to get through it in one way or another. But I want to stop being so tense about being anxious when I am not feeling anxious yet, and I just, like, assume that I will soon. Which, I mean, I feel like I do have a pretty good, you know, knack to tell, like, if I'm gonna feel anxious and when. But I don't know, man. Like, I just don't think it does me that much good when I'm so tense about it, and when I'm thinking, like, oh, today's gonna be way worse than yesterday because I did this, this, and this. Like, that's like negative attraction. Like, my day is gonna be worse because I'm thinking that it's gonna be worse. You know what I mean? Ultimately, all of this just falls back on just, like, being present, in the present, living in the present, dealing with the issues that you have in the present, not being so worrisome about what may or may not happen. Even if I'm convinced that it will, it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about, like, even if I'm 100% convinced that this will happen, it hasn't happened yet, so I can't be sure. That 100% is a fallacy. It doesn't exist. Like, because it hasn't happened yet, I could pleasantly surprise myself and be like, oh, I'm actually not anxious today. Stuff like that, you know? I gotta remember that. I desolate drive, I think, of any drive that I've had on this trip. It's so open. North Dakota was also pretty desolate, but it felt a lot less open for some reason. It might be the terrain, it might be the mountains, it might be the rocks, the tumbleweeds, shit like that. But all I can think about out here is just like Wild West, cowboy shit. You know, pioneers in the Oregon Trail. And again, it obviously goes back much further than that. It's just beautiful. And that's just part of my indoctrination of being an American, that's what I think of, instead of like the indigenous people that were here before. But it's also just like the aesthetic, you know, like I really enjoy like Western movies most of the time. I really like that aesthetic and that feel. And that's just being truthful. Like I do like that aesthetic a lot. But that's what it reminds me of. And it's just so vast and beautiful. And I'm on this, you know, not the interstate anymore, like this smaller highway. And there's just nothing here. I mean, no gas station for like fucking 80 some miles, or maybe even more, I don't really know. And it's just beautiful. I'm very glad that I got the sun on my back instead of in my eyes. Because I'm over with that part of the trip, where the sun sets in my eyes. It'll set in my back now, which I like, obviously. There was a point in Idaho where I was driving the night that I got into Boise. There was a split, there were like a few seconds where I literally couldn't see. It was really scary. I was right next to a semi on a bridge, and we were turning. I literally couldn't see. It was fucked up. Oh my god, it's just gorgeous. So I'm not going to take any videos or photos because it's a 2-lane highway, and I just don't want to put in that energy to try. But oh my god, going down again. We were up high for a while, going down again. There are these mountains in the background behind me to my right, and I can see that there's like a little water, like a little lake in the middle of them. And then on my right, like in front of me on my right, they're not quite mountains, but they're big red rocks, like very like Utah looking rocks, the ones that are on their license plate. And there's a very big lake down there too that forms at the bottom, but it looks like there's a town down there too. Lake Ridge Estates. Oh my god, yeah, they got some fucking gentrified looking houses. I guess it's not really fucking gentrifying, right? But like, because there's nothing there to begin with. Either way, just wealthy white people putting homes up wherever they can in their gated communities. That's classic. That's a tale as old as time. It's very, very pretty though. I have less than an hour, probably less than 45 minutes till I get to Casper now. Yeah, 36 minutes until I'm at my destination. So I'll probably get to Casper in like 30 minutes or less. And I actually had like a good drive today. I felt really calm the whole time, except for the beginning, but it really helped that I talked through my thoughts and kind of calmed myself down. Even though it wasn't horrible this morning, it was just kind of that, like, you know, tense, like I got this burden on my shoulders, my anxieties for the day, and I got this fucking almost 6-hour drive. But now it's almost less than 30 minutes, and I did it, and I had actually a really good time. This was one of my favorite drives. They're all so good in their own ways though. They really are. They really have been. It's so different. Each drive has been so different. It's astounding. colors and the trees, all these different things, bro. I did not expect it to be as different as it was, and still is. I'm excited to see what Casper is like. I'm gonna take it real chill tonight. Might make some food when I get to the motel, maybe write, and then I think I want to go to a bar and just like read, maybe have a beer or two. I just really like going and seeing what the city is like, you know. And the bar is like it's really like the far and away the best place to do that. Honestly, I think I mentioned this earlier, but I don't know how big Casper is. I think it's decently sized, but I don't think it's like big by any means. I was really surprised at how big both Boise and Salt Lake City felt compared to their size. They felt so alive. Like it made the Twin Cities feel like sleepy. It's weird. I mean, we have like in the metro area, I was looking it up, we have 3 times as many people as Salt Lake, and over 4 times the amount of people as Boise. But they both just felt so alive. Salt Lake especially. Made me kind of think like, what's up Minneapolis? Like, what are we doing? When I was talking to Aaron about different bars and stuff, like the bar scene in Minneapolis, like low-key isn't that good, if I'm being honest. Like, I want a fucking place like Twilight Lounge. Oh my god, that place was awesome. That might be like my favorite bar I've ever been to. It's right up there with Kitty Cat Club. But honestly, if I lived in Salt Lake, if I moved to Salt Lake, or if I was there for an extended period of time, like, I'm sure that place would overtake Kitty Cat Club as being my favorite. That's also easy to say though, because Kitty Cat has been closed for so long, and I also like was just introduced to Twilight, so I got like recency bias or whatever that term is. I was thinking about this today too, like being on this trip has just made me realize that there's always so much more to experience and to learn. And to anyone who ever thinks that they have it figured out, I sincerely hope that they realize that's just within their own reality, that they've decided to kind of shut the door on growing. If you have it figured out and you're happy, good for you. But you didn't figure out life. You figured out one of the infinite ways that you want to live, that you are satisfied enough, and you don't want to learn anymore. And that's fine. It's your life. But how naive is it to think that you have it figured out? As if there's one right way to play life. Like, and even saying that, like, I know, I don't think this way, but I know those people would think that it's like one of the right ways. But it goes back to what I was saying about good and bad. That shit doesn't exist. Like, things just are. They just are. The way that you're living is not right. just like the way someone else is living is not wrong. Someone might want to change their life drastically, completely. But again, it's the objective truth that like this person woke up today just like you did. And you live infinitely different lives. You probably will never even know that each other existed. But you're equal. You're human beings that woke up to live another day. Everybody's on the same what's the word? Everyone's equally valid all the time. This trip has taught me a lot, but that's one of the biggest things. I don't ever want to fall into that trap. I know that I won't. Like, I know who I am. I know how I think. So I'm not like nervous that I will. But I just don't ever want to fall into that mindset that I gotta figure it out. I gotta figure it out. And even if I ever feel that way, I would never put it under that statement. It's so belittling. A very easy like audible would just be to say like, I'm living my life. I'm living a life that makes me happy, that makes me feel fulfilled, that allows me to express myself freely and receive reciprocity with love or communication or understanding. That's my goal. And I've had most of that for most of the time. I live a very fortunate life. And I've tried very hard to be as good of a person as I am. I know I'm going to look back on these drives and just yearn for them. I'm sure I'll do something like this again. This was amazing. It takes a lot out of me, but this was amazing. So much growth. And new perspectives. And just new experiences, new memories. Memories are the currency of life, as I've said. Especially like if you're as nostalgic as I am. And I know a lot of people are. Because why wouldn't you want to remember the times that you were happy or the times that you had fun? That's like free serotonin right there. That's why I think photos and videos are so important to me. And I definitely used to be more on the side of like, oh, put your phones away, live in the moment. You know, you watch a concert, live stream, video on YouTube, guarantee you get all those comments like, or if it's like in the past, you know, it's like, oh, not a phone in sight. All pretentious and shit, like, look at me, like I didn't take any photos, any videos. Even though I know damn fucking well that you were fighting the urge the whole time. You only did it to prove that you didn't have to. Or that you could flex later on that you didn't take any. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying, like, I used to be more on that side of like, yeah, live in the moment, you don't need a phone. But now it's like, god damn, like, I feel like I'd totally miss out if I didn't take a photo or video. I'd miss out on like a future chance to make myself feel happy and remember how much fun that I was having at this time. hope most people would agree with that. I think that mindset is kind of mellowed out. Because I know, like, a big, it's like, yeah, I do agree still that, like, nobody wants to watch a whole concert through Snapchat. Like, in that case, like, you can put your phone away. Like, you got enough video. Like, but then again, it's your life. You do whatever you want. Yeah. I love Wyoming. Wyoming has made me feel the most, like, wonder. As weird as that is. Because it's very, very desolate, like I was saying, and open. But man, like, I just want to live out here at some point, for some period of time. Maybe if so I still have been trying to decide, and I'm sure I'll figure this out as time goes on too, and I'll start thinking more about it realistically when I get home, because that's when I want to start. I want to make something. Of course, I always want to make things. I want to express myself to people, and I'm going to do that for the rest of my life. I'm going to do that. I want to live like an artist, because I am an artist. I got shit to say. One, because I think it would benefit people to hear. I know I got good thoughts and ideas. I've been told that my whole life. That's why people like talking to me, partly. But number two, because I have to. I can't let this shit pile up in my head anymore. Or again, because I'm already flushing that toilet, like I said before. I'm getting those thoughts out of my head. So I'm still deciding on what kind of art I want to make, and maybe it'll be different things at different times. Like, I'm totally open to that. It's like how I used to be like, oh, I can't write because I don't have my laptop on me, and whenever I write, it has to be in the Pages application on my desktop. That's the only way I'll write. But now it's just like, man, I was limiting myself. I can make a voice recording. I can make a note on my phone with my phone. I can write in my notebook, and I can still write on my desktop. It's just like whatever. It's not beneficial to me to limit myself when I have these good ideas that I think would be good to write down, to either get them out or work them through even more later. Because then I just forget them. Like if I weren't taking photos or videos at a concert, or just anywhere really, not just a concert, that's just like the prime example. But if I wasn't taking any photos or videos, I might never remember that again. And it's kind of a sad thought. I don't think it's like very depressing, because that's just life. There are a lot of things that you'll never remember again, and you can't even know what they are, because if you knew what they were, you'd be remembering them, and that just goes against the saying. Anyway, those thoughts that I didn't write down, maybe some of them are gone forever. Explicitly. I feel like a lot of my thoughts come back around to me in general terms, but every once in a while, somewhat often, I phrase a thing a certain way, or I put certain words together, and it just like fucking clicks. Like I just know, like, yes, that is exactly what I meant. Those are the perfect words, to my knowledge, to express what I meant. But anyway, it's funny the way that I talk, because I just go on all these different tangents. But that's the way that I think. That's what puke for thought means, like literally. I think that's just that's one of like the most perfect phrases that I've thought of, honestly. It's exactly how I think and exactly how I speak. Like when I said, yeah, I can be articulate if you give me time to ramble. It was like the same kind of thing. It's so accurate to who I am and how I think and speak and behave. But Anyway, the thing that I was saying was that maybe someday I will make a project, if I have the means and the funds and whatever. I'll work on something out in Wyoming. Build me a house or find me an Airbnb. Something like that. No, not an Airbnb. I want to be like fucking far removed. Maybe I'll just have to fucking build a house or find someone that has a house out here. Anyway, I'll cross that bridge when it comes. But what a perfect place to work on something that would be. No reception, no anything. I want to live like that, bro. Ever since I first found out that Bon Iver went to the woods to make that 4-song EP, I knew that I wanted to do that at some point in my life too. How magical does that sound? And I feel like that's kind of like a circle jerk like thing to do. You know, like, yeah, I like went into the woods, I went to the mountains by myself, and I isolated myself, and I cried, and I wept, and you know, I went manic. But this is what I created. Hope you like it. I don't want it to be like that, but I don't think I can be like that. Not fully. Maybe parts of me can. Like pretentious to the point where it's just kind of like funny. It's pretentious, like cringe, and I don't know. I'm just too transparent. I feel like I understand have a very good understanding of what's like cringe and what's cringe and what's based. I got a good radar for that. I keep forgetting to say based. That's like one of the best words of all time. I gotta say it more often. One of those things that you say, that you start off saying ironically, but then you just adapt it into your like everyday language. Like bet. I say bet all the fucking time. I don't even notice all the times that I say it. That one was instant. I said it one day and then it was just wet, like woven into my vocabulary. I think Wyoming might be my favorite state. I think I've always liked it too, or ever since I saw Hateful Eight, and I read that it was filmed in Wyoming. I just have had a soft spot for it, and now I've actually been through it. I wonder where they filmed Hateful Eight. I was thinking about that earlier. I should have looked it up. Stop in Chamberlain. Mostly actually, because you know I couldn't really find any cheap motels, and the cheapest place I called this morning, they said they were booked. And I don't know. It'll be cool to go through there because I want to see what it's like. I'll still go through there. But after that, I kind of just immediately thought like, okay, I think I'm just gonna go as far as I can. It's about 11 and a half hours left. I've been driving for like 15 minutes. 11 and 11.5 hours left. I doubt that I'm going to do that whole thing. I highly doubt that. But who knows? Maybe I'll feel great. I feel really good right now. I feel like that, you know, that feeling when you have like a long, I don't want to say challenge, because it's not really challenging. I guess it is in a way. You know, I'm like going through another car ride by myself for 11.5 hours. That's a long time. So it is a little challenging in that way. But, you know, like I know myself, as soon as I start to get tired, I'll probably find somewhere to sleep. I'm thinking maybe it could be cool to, or most convenient, if I just find one of those like big like truck stops and then just post up there and maybe sleep for the night. I don't know. We'll see. But I like the way that I'm feeling. Like I'm not confined to anything. And I'm glad it's happening. This is like the perfect day for that to happen, because I don't think I'd like to function like that the whole time. I mean, I know I wouldn't, which is why I didn't. But for my last full day on the road, I think it'd be fitting to kind of, you know, just go as far as I can. Just feel it out and make my decision when the time comes. Very reminiscent of this whole trip, just been going with the flow. So in a way, I felt kind of happy that there weren't any motels in Chamberlain. I mean, there are. I just don't want to spend like $80 for one night, you know. But who knows? Maybe I will at some other place. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Money's not really the issue. I just know, you know, the way that I think about money. It's like, $80. I don't know if that's worth it. But it could be worth it at the time. It just depends what I want to do. So we'll see. Like I said, I feel really good. Feel just very, very chill, very easygoing, and I'm excited for this car ride. It is very cloudy, still very rocky hills. Definitely too small to be mountains. I guess there are mountains in the distance, but very much Wyoming. It'll be interesting to kind of see that fade away as we transition into South Dakota terrain, which I know to be very flat. The color scheme will probably be very similar though. This is it's very fitting for the time of year. It's like that, it feels like winter before the snow gets here. Because, you know, winter after the snow gets here is like similar vibe, but different look. Everything is just very wet and cold and crisp. Like the earth here still is kind of like holding on to a little bit of that summer warmth. Even just like the feeling of it, I don't know. But yeah, there are not many cars on the road at all. I assume it'll be like this most of the drive. It's interesting because it's a Saturday, but I mean, I guess it's because we're in like the area that we're in. It's just so spread out, and like there's just not much travel. Why would there be? There's not that many people. I found out that last night that Casper is the second biggest city in Wyoming with 50-some thousand people. Definitely, it's for sure under 60. And then Cheyenne, the capital, is the biggest, and that's got like 60-some thousand, and that's it. I think I maybe knew this before, but I definitely wouldn't have known it with certainty. But I read that Wyoming is also the least populated state. And one of its slogans is the cowboy state. I find those two things to go very well together. I really like Wyoming. It's so interesting to me. Like the whole time I've been in it, I've just felt fascinated. You know, by the way of life, by the terrain, just everything. It feels so foreign. I don't know why. Last night I was gonna go check out a bar that the motel dude recommended to me. And it's funny because, well, I was gonna go check out a bar. I ended up finding this place that has vegan pizza in Casper, Wyoming, of all places, which is really cool. So I decided I'm gonna get a vegan pizza. I'm gonna get a bottle of wine, and I'm just gonna chill in this dirt cheap motel that smells like smoke. And I really like that shit though. Like I do not need much for $40. Like literally $40. Like you got hot water. That's all I really care about. For my shower in the morning, they had really hot water. It was nice. But they had a microwave in the room. They had a TV. It was more than enough. But it was funny because the bar that I was gonna go to was literally right across the street from the pizza place. And then right next door to the pizza place was the wine place. It was so funny that it's just like the one place I was gonna go to, and then the two places that I decided to go to were literally all right next to each other. Like they were all in a row, with a street in between two of them. It's so funny how that works out. I feel like that's validation in its own way. But yeah, I just ate a pizza, drank a bottle of wine, watched TikTok and Food Network. It was really relaxing. I haven't really had a night. I guess I kind of did in Billings a little bit. No, but I went out in Billings. Yeah, no, I like that. I'm happy that I got to do that. I feel like the time that I've been gone is also the time that the leaves have fallen off of the trees. The beginning of my trip was just filled with colors and leaves. And of course it's, it takes a month for all of them. And it is just like difference in the areas that I've been in. But all the trees I drive by now, I noticed this 2 days ago. But all the leaves are gone on most of the trees that I see. And it makes me feel like I really did go at the perfect time. Very transitional. I'm excited to be home though. I was thinking about my cats this morning, and that's when I really decided, like, I'm just gonna get as far as I can. I miss my cats so much, and I really do miss Kid. I really like living with them, like spending my baseline life with them. Oh, my kitties! I just wanna cuddle them. I wonder how they're gonna act. This is the longest I've been gone from them since we got them over a year ago. I'm sure Bubblegum will be like confused for a sec, but I'm sure she'll warm up very quickly. I always just give her so much love because she gives me love. She's so needy. I think today I feel like my road trip is over, or that I'm ready for it to be over, or even more accurate, I think I'm ready for it to wind down. Like whenever it ends, I feel like I've gained what I needed to from it. Like with my sobriety, I reached that point where I felt like I gained what I needed from it. And I feel that way with this road trip. Because with Chamberlain out of the way, I don't really have any other destinations. Like when I started out talking, I said I'm on my way home. I'm not on my way to any other place, just home. excited to be back. And like I said, I feel very good. Maybe I will make it the whole way. Who knows? Time will tell. I had the thought too, I think a good way for me to stay in the present is to look at my surroundings and then try to describe them to myself. And better yet, I can even make it poetic. I can try to describe them to myself in a pretty way, as if I were to write about them. I think that helps keep me grounded. I haven't really tried that yet, but I just had that random thought. I got so many tools in my toolbox. And it's hard to remember them, but I know as I get older and I know as I have more experience and more tools, because undoubtedly I'll get more tools in there. The longer you live, the more experience you have, and the better you find better ways and just completely new ways to deal with things, to tackle your anxieties and stuff like that. And I think that's exciting. As I said before, I'm done thinking that I've found a fix, because nothing in life is a fix, you know. It's similar to like nothing in life is good or bad. It just is. Like mental health just is, you know. Like there's no fixing it. You can help it and you can damage it, but you can't fix it. Just like I don't think that you can ruin it, like in the same way. And I find a lot of like comfort in those thoughts where, you know, I spent the last 2 years worrying that I was broken or that I was like breaking, to where, you know, I thought I was just gonna like die, like literally. And that's kind of a scary thought, because I don't want to draw that into my life. I don't want to attract death. Especially when I like genuinely do want to live as long as I can. I want to experience as much as I can. And I want to impact other people and be impacted as much as I can. But in the back of my mind for those 2 years, I just kind of thought like, I don't know, bro. I feel like I'm just going to die at some point. Not by suicide, but I think at my worst, I thought maybe I would have a mental breakdown that led me to like a suicide, to where I convince myself and there's no convincing myself otherwise, you know, where it's just like, if I were to like break like that and just think like, fuck bro, I gotta kill myself, that's the only way to do it. And even talking about that, like I don't really think that's a scary thought. I think, you know, that would be way down the road, but I don't think like that anymore. And I don't think I even explicitly thought that when I was dealing with those thoughts. I think that was just kind of like my feeling. Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. But I'm done. I don't want the spotlight on death. I want the spotlight on life. That's the way to live. That's the only way to live. I mean, that's what the word means, live. I want to work on dying. It's a cool producer tag, like fucking Lil Uzi producer, but it's not a good motto. Casper this morning, it was like 55, and then I saw in the Twin Cities it was 32. It's funny because I feel it's such a weird time of the year, because I left the Twin Cities when it was significantly warmer than where I was going to. Like, it was like, 60, 70 in the Twin Cities, and even the first night in Bismarck, it was like 40. And then Billings was cold as shit too, and then obviously Yellowstone was like the coldest. I swear it was like 10 or 15 degrees, like in the night. And then Boise was, like 70s. It got up to 50s to 70s. And then here I am, and it's like, kind of getting colder again. But then I'm returning to the cities when it's like just fucking cold. But it's just that time of year. It's just funny how that works. I've experienced so much different weather. Rain, snow, sun, really hot, really cold. Man, what a trip. What a variety of experiences I've had. What a variety of reflections and scenery and people and ways of life. It's incredible. I wrote an email to Bella this morning because she wrote an email to me a couple days ago, just for fun. But I told her that I don't think I can ever stop searching for new experiences or new reference points. And even if I'm not actively, like on the hunt, because I don't like to be that way all the time. If I'm not actively on the hunt, I'll never, like I was talking about yesterday, I will never close that door into thinking that I've figured out life. Even if I have the understanding that, like I've figured out a good life for myself, I don't ever want to be complacent to the point where I'm done being open to new experiences and new people and new frames of reference. I don't want to, and I don't think I ever can live my life that way. I think it would get to me. I think it would start a mental health decline again. I don't want to feel like I'm ever giving up. And for me, giving up is being complacent and monotony. That being said, don't fix what's not broken. I know I need to take care of myself too, so I don't want to push myself too hard. Or, more accurately, be too hard on myself. I feel like that's the biggest thing. All of these things that I feel like I should be doing when I don't put myself first. When I don't have that foundation of centering myself and making myself feel whole, it's just not doable. I understand why I felt that way for so long. And I think that's just because, I genuinely am a good person, in my opinion. I think that's why I felt that way so strongly. But to realize that I needed to focus on myself first and build myself back up whole, or, I don't know, build myself up whole for the first time. It's not like I had any sort of, major life events that took pieces out of me. I don't think I did. I think I'm still just, figuring out how to build myself up whole for the first time to really impact the world and allow myself to be impacted. There's always that reciprocity that always has to be there for me. I'm reminded of what Mary said, the thrift shop owner who's 70 something and just an incredible person. And I was chatting with her for 20 some minutes. She said something that, like, I think of all the time. Just like, life is like beautiful, it's horrible, it's scary, it's blissful, it's all these different things. But all you can do is just keep trying, keep going. And that's not profound in the way that it's like a revolutionary thought, because I know that I've thought that she's thought that many, many people have thought that before, and think that every single day, because it's true. But when I couple that, when I hear her say that, and I couple that with my newfound thoughts of things just are, not good or bad, they just are, then I think it's extra impactful for me. Because what she said is not, it's not good or bad. They're all emotions that I will go through many, many, many times. All of them. Throughout the rest of my life. And they just are. Some emotions I want to keep, and some emotions I want to expel as soon as I feel them. But they're emotions that I will feel, and I feel very comfortable, and I feel acceptance with that. There's no fixing emotions. You can't be happy all the time, but you won't be sad all the time either. Such simple lessons that I've learned that feel like they are pillars in the foundation of myself that I'm building. And I'm thrilled to see, what smaller works, or what smaller pieces that build me up that I gather alongside those foundational pillars. I'm so thrilled. And to talk about them with people, to teach and to learn from anyone, no matter how old or how young. This is the part of my trip where I feel, when I said I'm ready for it to start winding down, this is the part where I feel like I'm just kind of sitting back, with a very soft smile, very soft, closed mouth smile, and I feel acceptance. Acceptance of all that's happened to me in this past week and a half, and acceptance of a new journey, or I think I should say the continued, more advanced journey that I've already been on. A more clear journey, an improved journey in every sense, because I'm improving myself. That'll lead me to my happiest life. And there's no form of myself that I want to achieve, because there's no point where I'm going to feel like I've done it. There's no point where you can't fix yourself, there's no bar that I want to get to. I've been at that bar. I am that bar. lead by example because I don't know any other way. It's pretty awe-inspiring. The last thing I want to say is that I always really enjoy seeing just those little pieces, little patches of snow that just kind of hold on. And I've been seeing a lot of them on this drive so far. And those little patches of snow always remind me of road trips to South Dakota. And I'm glad I'm going through South Dakota. I have a very special attachment to that place, even though it's not really a part of my identity. I think it did teach me a lot about what to expect from the world, or America, I should say. It gave me that reference as a child.